Hello there, friends and family. Didn't see you walk up to the car. And as you can see, we're back in the Pocus. And I was about to tune in my favorite radio station here, 99.9, right here in my little town in Deep South. Yep, rock and roll. And you may be wondering why we're in the Pocus. Well, I had a couple of errands to do. And I just got back from two of them. And I thought, well, since I was all spiffied up in my go-to-town clothes, I go right back to town, but you know, I ain't all that far. And I wanted to take a look at something. Something from way in the past, which is about to be gone. Any day now. So let's go take a look at it, and let's talk about it. And let's try to document and preserve a little bit of history while we still can, okay? My throat's dry. Somebody bring some water. Y'all pile on in, okay? Well, there you are again, friends and family. And we got on down here to historic downtown Talsi. I refer to it as Old Town. What was once a very prosperous place. And there's a lot of history here. Back when the mills were running full bore. And one of the reasons why I came down here today is because something's about to pass away. Something that was a part of Talsi and part of its development, part of its allure at one time, and known far and wide for its food, among many other things. And you might wonder what that place was. Well, that was the Hotel Talsi, T-A-L-S-I, or Talsi. Instead of like the name of the city, which is T-A-L-L-S-S-E-E. And there's a lot going on down here in a little downtown. There's renovations to the older buildings happening. And you're going to be seeing some of that. And that's part of the problem with what I'm about to show you. And what has determined the fate of the historic Hotel Talsi. But let me show you where it stands right now. That's it right now. You can see the yellow caution tape, the boarded up front entrance, which was grand at one time. And you can see it's a 3-story building. And if you can look through the back side there, you'll see it has some issues. Well, its fate has been decided, even though if you look at its outside facade, it doesn't look in all that bad a condition, does it? Let's go a little bit closer and take another closer look at it. Now, I have a lot of fond memories of this hotel. It used to have a restaurant on the first floor. Well, it had many things. It had a lobby like, oh, we have not seen since the Roaring 20s. Yep. Simply beautiful with the velvet curtains, grand piano in the lobby. Yeah. But then it had a restaurant, which people knew far and wide, and people drove quite some distance to come down and eat at it. But it was known for all things, its meat and three. And it was known for fried chicken, beef tips, chicken and dumplings. I mean, just good down-home southern fare. And I'd ate there many a time at the all-you-eat luncheon buffet. But yep, the city has decided, based on the fact that it's an eyesore, it's supposedly dangerous, flea infested now because of feral cats. You came too, huh?
My mama's a widow.
Well, it's about to be gone, that's why I'm here.
When are they tearing it down?
Still undecided. I don't understand it because, hell, if you're going to tear this one down, why not tear down the whole downtown?
Yeah, this is the best one.
Well, I don't know how much of that you caught on camera. Or you didn't. I didn't actually turn the camera their way out of respect for them. But you might have overheard. Those were the daughters of the mother that was a Woodall. Now, why is that important? Well, originally, this was not named the Hotel Talsi. And you can see it here in the entrance mosaic right here in front of the boarded up entranceway. And what do you see? Yep, the Woodall Hotel. That was the original name. In fact, the original building, I'm not sure when it was built, but the first building was destroyed in 1915. Sure was. The building that we're about to show you was built in 1928 as a replacement for that building and was still named Woodall Hotel. The name wouldn't change to the Hotel Talsi until 1962. Yep. It'd be nice if somebody came by and could take this up, this mosaic and the name in the tile. You used to see this a lot in downtown areas. I remember the same type of tile work with the store names, everything from hardware stores to Sears and Roebuck. Montgomery Ward, Woolworths used to do the same thing. Put the name right in the tile, right in front of the entranceway. I'm sure many of y'all remember that too. Of course, you can see busted beer bottle out front here. You know, that gets back to that other word we're always talking about, respect. Of course, this being tore down and the history and circumstances behind it, yeah, that goes back to respect too. Not only respect for the history of this area and the town, but the respect of the people. The people who built it, the people who grew up and were raised, the people who cherished it. Yeah. You see, because the Hotel Talsi caught fire in 2009. Now, it didn't catch all on its own, and it wasn't set, but it was a victim of arson. Not of arson in particular against the hotel, but what had happened is a business that backed this hotel, and we'll go there in just a minute, of course it's gone, was broken into back in 2009. And to cover that break-in up, a young man, 17 years old, I forget his name, it doesn't matter, to cover up his crime, he set the Smarty Pants consignment store on fire. Yes, he did. And since it backed this building, somehow it crossed over. Being an engineer and in discussion with other engineers, we figure it crossed over from the attic of the adjacent building into the attic of the Hotel Talsi. And you can see across the street from the hotel. Yep, you can see a lot of construction materials or tear out where people are coming in and renovating these older buildings. Somewhat, sort of, kinda. Progress is real slow. But I guess any progress is better than no progress. And now I'll try to find some pictures of what the Hotel Talsi looked like in its prime and show you. But it, like I said, it was 3 stories. And from my time of being here in Talsi, from 95 till present date, the first story was basically the restaurant, the lobby. There's actually another small commercial kitchen area and smaller venue, i.e. restaurant, towards the rear of the building. From time to time, people try to make a go of it as a standalone restaurant too. And a couple of times, they had some really nice, you know, sort of romantic, quaint little cafes or restaurants in the back. but they never seemed to stick like the bigger restaurant did out here in the front. That had the meat and three for lunch and dinner. Oh, and Sunday brunch. I mean, people would come far and wide to have Sunday brunch. Car clubs, motorcycle clubs, people that just somehow from 2 or 3 states away had heard of it. And it wasn't like it was fine French cuisine either. Nope, it was just down home, deep south, southern comfort food. Now, it was good. Oh yeah. And it was very economical. This is the south side, and you might be able to see that the rear half of the roof has collapsed. Yeah. And hence that sort of is what has now signed the Hotel Talsi's doom to destruction. It's such a shame. See, we don't build structures like this anymore. No, we don't. Where the concrete, the cement, the mortar was actually made from native materials right here in the Tallapoosa River Valley. Yeah. Those brick, I'm sure, came from a brick foundry and brickyard very close to here, most likely Montgomery, because there are still brickyards that make bricks every day in Montgomery. Or it could have came from Opelika to the northeast, or maybe Alex City, or they could have been made right here in Talsi, Alabama. And that's, you know, look down towards the river end of the downtown, old downtown. And there actually is a business there in that corner building across the street from the Hotel Talsi called Grove Station. But this over here, this green area that we're walking to right now, was actually where the building that was broke into that fateful night in 2009 and then set on fire. And like I say, it wasn't, the problem being that I've always got with how the hotel burned was they weren't actually butting up to each other. You can see right here, this is an alleyway. And I know this alleyway was not built on top of by this building that was here. It's because me and the wife, when they did open a little cafe here in the back, kitchen venue and eating area, you know, on that Friday night, date night, we'd come down here and have, you know, a semi-romantic dinner. It was quite nice. It really was. So I don't know how this building here, which is where the Smarty Pants consignment shop was, jumped to here. And like I say, you can see the problem there. And I can look from here being an engineer. Yeah. The roof that was put up, which you're looking at the bottom side of the floor joist for the 3rd story. Let's get it a little bit further back. By looking at it, the roof wasn't even as well did or done well did as the floor there was for the 3rd story. That whole section of what was new roof put on after 2013, poorly done I might add, collapsed into the third floor, which you can see then also collapsed. Now back when Robert and Paul owned this, the restaurants were going, you could stay on the second floor right there. The rooms were like going back in time to 1920s. The furniture, the furnishings. There were no telephones in the rooms, just a telephone booth. A wooden one out in the hallway. Yeah. Now the third story was where they lived while they owned it before it was sold. And they left Talsi. Not sure where they went. So anyway, because of what happened with the roof collapse and just the procrastination of the current owners to ever repair and renovate and reopen the hotel, the city has decided that it's going to be demolished. Now, not as a part of this here demolition of the old Talsi Hotel, there is going to be what's called the downtown utility renovation project. All new water, sewer, gas lines, and high-speed internet lines will be going in this here small downtown area. And all new sidewalks. Yeah. I've already been real vocal about the fact that we replaced sidewalks up in my neck of the woods. Of course, I was told that they caused people to stumble and fall and weren't in good shape. Let's look at these right here. They look fine, don't they? Of course, I'm not sure. But looking at these lines for power lines and what have you, markings, power, gas, and water, this will all be coming up. Here's an old alleyway right here that separated the Smarty Pants building, which was here, which is now this little green area and park. Yep, we tend to do that a lot. We tear down parts of the city as well as private residences on private property, and we make it into little small parks. Now I can take you around and show you all of them. But as you can see, they're not very well utilized. I mean, people hardly don't even go and sit out in their yard anymore, let alone take a walk and go to a little park. Like, it's got 2 benches and a trash can. Yeah. You know, it's better than overgrown weed-filled lot, I guess. But this was the back side of the Hotel Talsi, and it's where at one time that smaller kitchen and restaurant area was. You know, it's sort of like a boutique restaurant. And we'll just show you here. You can see over there where the roof collapsed. Well, even though that's fairly new looking timber there, yep, the roof collapsed onto the third floor collapsed onto the second floor, and that's the second floor sitting down on the concrete. And it was right here, in this little space right here, and I know it's hard to see, and that, we're leaning in the window, was where they had that little boutique cafe a time or two. Can't even remember the name. But the food was high, you know, upscale. Very good. Larry Melvin, I believe, operated this a time or two. And that man can cook. He's a trained chef. Has all my respect. In fact, he has a restaurant over on our side of the river. Larry Melvin's Kitchen. Or Larry Melvin's Restaurant, not sure which. Fine place. And it's jam-packed too, every day, for lunch. Never been by there for supper, but if he's open for supper, you can bet it'll be packed. Yep, and there were little quaint round tables in here, just, you know, big enough for 2 or 4. The wife really did like it. We could come here and have a fine dinner, a fine glass of wine with our dinner. Yep. No, we didn't get silly-faced drunk. A glass. She might have 2. I, of course, was driving, so I could only have 1. And we could enjoy ourselves without having to drive all the way to Auburn, 45 miles to the northeast, or Montgomery, you know, 38, 40 miles to the southwest to have some fine food in a classy environment. That's not classy no more. It's a shame. But it's getting back to that one word, respect. See, nobody respect the history of this here hotel. Nobody's respecting the heritage of it. And it's tied to the city. It goes all the way back. I mean, if the first building burnt down or was destroyed in 1915, when was the first hotel built? I haven't checked into that. I could only dig back so far. And it really don't matter now. It's all gonna go away. And if I had to guess, this will be a green space too when it's all said and done. And you'll hardly even know a building was ever here. If you didn't know that there was a building right there, you wouldn't know. There's no signs of it. Yep, and then this little alleyway, which here again separates the main hotel building from what was the line of buildings right here. I just don't understand how that fire jumped. And though I hadn't really taken a hard look at this from an engineering standpoint, I've just read some of the speculation that, you know, it jumped from roof to roof and caught in the attic. I don't see how that was possible. Huh. Because if I remember correctly, the original roof, or not the original, but the roof at the time, was what's called a laid up felt and tar and gravel roof. Yep. And I mean, the hotel at that time was a going business. In my mind now, it's starting to not all add up. But many of the fires around here don't ever add up. Just saying. But that's not what the video is about. You know, probably never know the exact reasons. You can see here more of them there, red and yellow and blue lines. That's marking the current utilities. You know, water, sewer, power. Yeah, because here at some point in time they're going to be replacing all the services, utilities to this downtown area. I think they said the project was going to run 1.4 plus million. Yep, must be big plans for this downtown. Of course, I'm not aware of them, but then, you know, I don't sit on the city council. Man, I'm not really involved in the historical society like I once was many years back. But this being the west side, the front where we were at was the east side. I showed you the south side. Well, this is the north side right here. Yep. And this is the actual brick, come to think of it, that the original structure was made from. You see what it looks like? That's solid. Red clay. Yep. Fire baked brick. And now that I'm looking at it, I can see that the brick on the front and on that there south side is different. It's a moderner brick. So was this part of the original structure that was destroyed in 1915? What do you think? If anybody knows the history better of this old hotel, and you know, in my spare time, I'll make a note in my notebook. I'm gonna dig into it a little bit more. Of course, you can see my one of my arch enemies there growing up the side of the old hotel. Y'all all know what that is. Yep, Virginia creeper and greenbrier. That stuff will grow right out of the cracks of the concrete, because that's exactly what it's doing. And this was a little alcove, and then you crossed across to the, this being the back section of the hotel, cross through hallways into the front section. And I ain't looking to get in trouble today or get arrested, so I ain't gonna go past the caution tape. Even though I'm a big boy and I've been in a lot of semi-collapsed and collapsed structures as a consulting engineer on their structural integrity. And I was actually asked years ago, before it collapsed, Mill 1 of the Mount Vernon Mills, to do a structural analysis of it, which I told them the roof would collapse in short order, and I think within a year it did. They didn't do nothing. Just like since 2009, now 13 years have passed, and not much has been done to the historic remnants of the Hotel Talsi. And you can see the big ventilation pipe there and fans that came from the front kitchen. It was a much larger commercial kitchen that serviced the front restaurant. I mean, it had a big banquet hall too. That's where Sunday brunch was held. I got pictures of that when we would be there, me, the wife, and the kids, somewhere. I mean, real pictures. And like I say, most of me just coming here today was when I ran up on the article on the Talsi Tribune, which is our local little paper, comes out once a week on Wednesdays, that the city had finally decided it was going to be demolished. You can see right here, these are some new inverter split systems. I mean, one point in time, they were planning on reopening. And like I say, I'm not privy to all the details of why that group of owners never carried out their plans. And if you remember what the brick on that there back half of the hotel looked like, and now we look at this brick, you'll definitely see the stark difference. So I'm thinking that back half was part of the remains of the original building that was destroyed in 1915. Because the two bricks don't match, and these were not new bricks as of the 2009 fire and renovation. Nope, they weren't. Yeah, some brick had to be replaced up on the second and third stories. To be honest with you, I never realized it was two separate sort of buildings joined by an interconnecting hallway. So the building looks like, oh, an N or a U. But there's the Grove Station. And I believe it's going to be a butcher, a bakery, a market, and culinary experiences. And you can see it's got that same type of mosaic, albeit octagon, or nope, hexagon shaped tiles. Yeah, hexagon, 6 side. You know, they taught us that in math class, didn't they? And it says number 19, and this is original. Yep. So this has all been, I think it's actually been open at times. It currently is not. Of course, they do have a FedEx package right there. Need to come out and grab it. Yep. And this, I guess the streets are going to be tore up. You know, and some of these sidewalks, the original ones, I can see all cracks in them. But I'm an oldster. You know, I ain't being tripped up. Of course, I mean to replace all the utilities. Yeah, they're going to have to be all broke up in places anyway, because you can see more markings going right down on the sidewalks. So I guess that's the reason the sidewalks are going to come up. Across the street there used to be the Roxy Garden. Now I want to show you that because that was quite interesting at one time.